you don't mind, kindly record the session, and Prem, you have the mic.
Okay. Good afternoon to all our viewers. Welcome to this session today. It is indeed an honor and a very proud privilege for me to share the platform with a very accomplished person like Steve Barnett. He's the head of the edge protection at Forcepoint. And Kamlesh is a person I've known since he started his career way back in the 2005-2006 timeframe. Very, very accomplished person who understands the security space very well. So welcome to both of you, David and Kamlesh. Forcepoint brings a lot of very good memories for me, because I remember it was way back in 2002 when in the Gulf, customers had only a firewall and an antivirus. We identified a space that was at that time called content filtering. And we felt that, neither the firewall nor the antivirus software was actually addressing content filtering for a client. And there were a lot of malicious content floating around on the internet. There were also spurious sites being sprawled up every day. And that was a big issue. So when we looked at the content filtering side, we identified two companies, a company called WebSense and a company called Surf Control. We evaluated them and we felt that WebSense was the right way to go. And I'm really thankful that we took a decision at that time, because the WebSense of 2002 is the Forcepoint of today. The company has evolved over the years, and we've been a partner of WebSense and Forcepoint now for the last 18 years. And I have tremendous confidence that in the move to cloud and cloud security, Forcepoint will definitely be a very strong force to reckon with in this space. And it is worthy of evaluation for any customer, not just the people who have got Forcepoint already installed on-prem. I think it is even for people who have not had Forcepoint installed on-prem, it is worthwhile to look at what is the cloud security strategy. So with that brief introduction, let me also draw your attention before I invite Steve to the fact that as you begin your journey to the cloud security, you're bound to come across some very, very different terminology, very different from the simplicity of network security, data security, identity and access management, and security monitoring and management, which has been the four pillars when we were looking at on-prem security. But now in the cloud, you're going to come across terminology like CASB, Cloud Access Security Brokers, Cloud Workload Protection Platforms, Cloud Security Posture Management, Cloud Security Detection and Response, Zero Trust Networks. There is going to be a combination of areas, and no vendor is going to be in a position to protect you across the complete estate in its entirety. You will have to look at a combination of a few strategic vendors, but very tightly integrated, and a few tactical vendors. And I think that will be the best technology strategy for security going forward. But then let us use this session as an opportunity to understand from David what his views are on cloud security in general and the Forcepoint offerings in particular. So Dave, welcome to Dubai.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. I wish I was there physically in Dubai, but it is an honor to be here with you, Prem, and also everybody who's on the call. Wow, 18 years. It's been a good journey. It's been a long journey. And thank you very much for the history lesson. But as much as things change, things also remain the same. The challenge that we have is less about security. It's more about the business. It's enabling the business to do things that the business needs to do to survive. And technology has helped us evolve, right? So back 18 years ago, it was all about individual products doing individual things. Surf Control, WebSense and Surf Control having specific purposes to protect your users from their offices. And then we saw maybe 8 to 10 years ago, integrations becoming important. So web security integrating with DLP. DLP integrating with CASB. next generation firewall, integrating with web security. And, now we have things like web security integrating with remote browser isolation. So what Gartner calls that is integration. In 2010 to 2020, that's very important. Now we're seeing convergence. So products, the product capabilities converging together. And this is why it's we're very happy to be launching our Cloud Security Gateway service. And the purpose of the Cloud Security Gateway is less technical, it's more business. We're trying to help you accelerate your digital transformation, whatever it may be. If you're in the government or if you're in the commercial side, your digital transformation is going to be different to you. But really, consumerization and the fact that we're all working from home or we're working remotely, increasing the amounts, means that we are expecting technology to do things for us that it perhaps didn't do before. I'll give you an example. 10 years ago, my mother asked me what I did for a living. And I told her I help organizations protect themselves from attack and that theft of intellectual property doesn't happen. And then I heard her that day saying, I don't know what Dave does, but I think it's something about stopping people from stealing computers. So my beautiful mother in age 72 did not really understand what we did. But when COVID happened, I gave her a phone with Skype, and now she benefits from technology. She doesn't have to worry about the technology. She just presses the button and it works. People are expecting a consumer-like experience in the workplace now. And things like cloud and mobile and technologies like social networks are very, very important to users. But when we're looking at an organization's digital transformation, it's really important to understand that maturity is fluid and it changes. Often within the same organization, there'll be different speeds of digital transformation. For example, in a bank, you may still need offices in a bank, but you may have decided, for example, that some people within the bank could work from home. So it's not equally defined and it's not labeled the same everywhere. And there are many different types of maturity. So, what this means is that just because an organization is advanced in some areas in adoption of cloud applications, and I know in the Gulf states, cloud is accelerating where it's appropriate, or the usage of infrastructures, or the transformation of networks going away from fixed lines and moving more towards software-defined networking. But it doesn't mean that the same organization is equally mature for security either. And it doesn't mean that you should have a static approach to risk either. As 18 years ago, Prem, we applied a filter: no pornography, no malicious content, only business purpose, right? That's a good thing now, still. I'm not saying we should change that, but I'm saying that the risk that people face is much more down to the needs of the business now. So it goes to say that an organization's digital transformation is different. So the solutions that customers need and how it's implemented is going to be different across different parts of different organizations, industries, and geographic regions. So all paths really do lead to cloud, but no path is the same. And this is really why you don't need more products. You need products, converged solutions that can grow with you, that can be used for multiple purposes. So if you look at the forces that are changing the market right now, well, first of all, we're all experts in technology now. We have phones with apps, and those apps do things, and the consumerization, the simplicity that's driven by consumerization, it doesn't make sense when we have complexity at work. If my mother could get a video conference with a phone, why should an organization have to spend millions on having video conferencing? and quite a lot of simplification is coming from users. We had a customer experience a finance organization in the UK last month, where the executives were using Zoom. The executives had found Zoom. It was a very simple solution. IT wasn't involved in the equation. It was shadow IT. But as soon as COVID hit, they thought, well, why don't we allow our users to access Zoom? The problem is, of course, in this case, it was a finance house and the executives didn't have access to customer data, but the users did. So they needed ways to secure digital transformation in a way that didn't block Zoom from being used, but allowed it to be used safely. So consumerization in the industry is massive. It's only going to make us less competitive and less attractive as places to work if we block stuff that just feels right. So, you know, good enough capabilities, you know, there's a lot of commodity in web security. You know, we will block pornography. That's a commodity, right? We'll block malware. It's by and large a commodity. You know, our mousetrap is bigger than your mousetrap. It's not really a discussion that's much value to the business anymore. You just have to assume that it's good enough for the purpose. But mobility is massive. You know, work, and I know this is a bit of a cliche, but work really is an activity, not a place we are. It's something that we do. And we have to ask ourselves, can we get more from our employees if we give them flexibility, not just in where they are, but flexibility in which device they use? If something feels right. I remember I joined a company many years ago and they gave me Lotus Notes and I was used to Exchange. I spent a lot of productivity went down in that business by trying to use something that just didn't feel right at the time. So, Cloud Security Gateway, which we have launched in the last month, and we're delighted to talk with you about. Kamlesh is going to talk in more technical detail, but I just want to give you a little bit of an overview. So, what Cloud Security Gateway is a cloud-delivered security service with all the appropriate controls around governance and local UAE POPs, points of presence and stuff, and that Kamlesh can talk about. But it does a number of things. Number one, it can protect all of your users with a consistent policy wherever they might be. If they're on-premise, or if they're mobile, or if they're in another country, we can protect those users on any device as well. We can stop threats. It's got advanced sandboxing capabilities that can stop, and multiple levels of protection that could stop attacks that could be targeted or could be just general for you. Most people around threats, they just want a problem to go away. You know, there's millions of threats out there. They just want the best possible security. What Cloud Security Gateway enables you to do is reduce point products because it's a converged service. It combines capabilities of 4 distinct product areas that I'll talk about. It also provides the ability to protect your data as it moves from your devices to whichever cloud applications you choose to use. It could be cloud applications we all know about, like Office 365 or Azure or AWS, or it could be cloud applications that haven't been invented yet. Whatever cloud application you want your users to use, or your users decide they want to use, we can protect the data as it's traveling into that. And in actual fact, we found that around about 75% of web traffic at the moment is cloud application traffic. So for that purpose, when we launched CSG, the first thing we did was making sure that we can apply DLP controls in line to cloud application traffic without damaging the user experience at all. It also enables you to simplify security management because we have a converged solution that does multiple things. So we can manage it from the solution itself, or you can integrate with things like SIM, like you know, QRadar and Splunk, etc. So it can be an integral part of your security management process, so that you can know, who has, you know, what has happened to which person, involving what data, whereabouts, so you can have a real-time view of things like attacks and accidental data losses. And what's really important as well, and this is, you know, we're proud to be in the Gulf states for over 20 years, actually. You know, we're proud to have points of presence in the Gulf states. We need to make sure that the performance of the user's traffic is optimized. So we've spent a lot of time working on peering and having global networks, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So what CSG is, firstly, it's cloud native. It's using advanced cloud native technologies, Kubernetes, Dockers, etc., AWS components, but it's centrally managed. Centrally managed where it matters, with uniform protection and policies, so that it enables you to gain benefit of cloud and solve many of the problems around cloud and mobility whilst not having to commit yourself to a specific solution. Because you don't know, your digital transformation where you are right now is not going to be where you are in a year. Things evolve quickly, and you need one single solution that could help you evolve with that. So, what do you need from a cloud security service? Well, first of all, for productivity, you don't want to be buying extra things. We don't want to, hide optional extras from you. In fact, there are actually only one optional extra for CSG. There is an optional extra for CSG, which is remote browser isolation. But apart from that, it's just one SKU and one license and one support process and one partner with Paramount, of course. So it's a single product that can manage all of your security policies. The cost has been massively reduced. If you were looking at CASB last year, it's CSG's including. If you look at inline DLP last year, CSG includes it. If you're looking at sandboxing last year, but maybe you couldn't afford it or you couldn't implement it, CSG includes it. It's one solution with very aggressive pricing. We don't want you to have to, we don't want to hide costs from you. Some vendors do. We're not going to, say, oh, well, you need extra cloud applications, that's extra money. We want to make sure that we can reduce your risk by not eliminating security gaps. I think that's a bit too bold, but covering all security gaps with appropriate level of control. And of course, very important to us is certifications and governance. Most of our cloud customers are super concerned about the fact that, do we have SOC certification? Do we have ISO certification? Do we adopt best practice? And this is something that is very important to us. So it's one solution, one converged service for integrated web security, advanced sandboxing, CASB, and DLP. But what can it do for you? Why should you care? What could a purchase of CSG or implementation of CSG do for you? Well, there's 5 fundamental areas. So number 1 is your users can work wherever they want without being held back by technology. The performance of your cloud applications will not slow down if they are in Dubai, if they're in Saudi, if they're in Australia. Wherever they are, the performance will be optimized. Consumption of cloud applications, what's key to that is how well the users experience it. We can lower the risk of a number of areas of security in your cloud so that you can use more. We know Microsoft is dominant cloud provider for workplace, for Office 365. Well, if you've purchased Office 365, there's dozens of parts of Office 365 that you could benefit from. But many customers, they're not able to benefit from all of them because of security concerns. You might have deployed, Exchange Online because then you can replace your on-premise Exchange server. That's great, that's pretty secure. But what about Teams? Maybe you might consider Teams to be too risky to use because it's an opportunity to share data externally. We can solve that problem for you. We can enable only work use of Office 365, not personal use. We can enable protection against oversharing of sensitive data that you define as sensitive. So whatever cloud applications you've decided to use, if you've made a major investment in them, we can help you use them faster and use more of them. And of course, because it's a cloud delivered service and it consists of multiple converged components, we can reduce your cost by consolidating the number of vendors that you have. You no longer need separate vendors for web security and separate vendors for sandboxing and separate vendors for DLP and maybe a separate CASB vendor. You have everything together in one solution. One solution, a trusted partner for 20 years, and one service support contract. But of course, protection, right? There was an old saying, when they asked a bank robber, a guy called Willie, a bank robber in the 1890s, why did he rob banks? Well, his answer was very simple. It was because that's where the money is. So recent surveys that we found globally, around about 52% of the company's data exists in the cloud. And it's the same in the Gulf. It's accelerating the amount of data that's going into Office 365 and also personal cloud applications that the users are using, but maybe not telling you about. those applications are storing your data. So we want to make sure that data is not only protected, but we can monitor the threats, monitor the access to it. We can geofence access to Office 365. So, you know, your Office 365, for example, cannot be accessed from outside of countries that you decide where they should be. We can detect whether or not your Office 365 is being brute forced by a country that may be hostile, or an organization that may be hostile to you. We can use advanced behavioral analytics within the CASB to make sure that if somebody's attacking you in the cloud or on your endpoint, on sandboxing, you will be the first one to know about it. This enables you to get left of breach. It's so common that people only detect a breach after it's happened. Where we're trying to get to is to help you detect your breach before it has a big impact on your business, so you can deal with it. And then finally, what can it do to transform your business? Well, you know, if I'm sitting here at home and I'm trying to solve a problem and my IT department has not given me a tool, for example, sharing a file, I'm going to ask my children or ask my friends, how should I solve this problem? And I will start to bring those consumer applications, those consumer cloud applications or mobile applications into the workplace. Now, that's called shadow IT. You could block it, but maybe you could learn from your users. So what we have is the unique ability to be able to intercept data going from your managed device or your unmanaged device through to a cloud application that you're not providing for your users, a cloud application they've decided to use. So if I try to solve a problem using WeTransfer, that traffic for WeTransfer could go through the Cloud Security Gateway, and you could decide whether or not you're going to block it completely or just take away any sensitive data that's being transferred. It's really good. Learning from your users. It's becoming the next big thing right now. So finally, I just in this page, I just want to say we have a single set of policies for all your users and for the data using Forcepoint's DLP, advanced capabilities of Forcepoint DLP in line to cloud applications right now. It gives you uniform protection. So if you've decided to adopt Forcepoint DLP for data on premise, it's the same console, it's the same policy, it's just another channel. The channel could be cloud applications. But CSG itself is not on premise, it's cloud delivered. It's cloud native, and it's got centralized management with 160 points of presence around the world. CSG, I'm glad to announce to you, is a converged platform that enables your user and all of their traffic to go to SaaS applications in the public internet, but be filtered through remote browser isolation as an option, secure web gateway, a cloud-delivered secure web gateway, inline and offline API-driven CASB, and inline DLP inspection, so that you're layering in protection for your users wherever they might be without damaging the user experience. So I'm not going to talk too much about this slide right now because it's very simple, right? But what our customers are finding is that we are a very simple and effective solution. I mean, the technology that CSG is based upon, as Prem mentioned, 18 years ago, it was WebSense, and it's very important that the technology that our CSG for you right now in 2020 is based upon proven technology that is well understood, and it's well supported, and it's very good quality. Our job is to make it easy for you. Our job and Prem's job is to integrate it with other solutions and make that easy. Kamlesh will mention a little bit more about the local regional areas, but you can see there is no other cloud service provider, security provider in the world that has the number of points of presence that we have, or has the level of certification that we have around how we work with your data. So first of all, it's cloud centric, right? So CSG is a cloud delivered service that's properly certified. It means that you don't have to install any technology. You just connect it and it works. Our support and customer success teams are focused on helping you identify what is the first value that you want to find and where is the final value, and take you on that journey so that you can accelerate your success. And I'm very delighted to say that even though we launched CSG a mere 8 weeks ago now, clients in Dubai have already acquired the technology and are already delivering the technology. So you can't be the first one in Dubai, but you might be the first one in Bahrain or wherever else that you might be. But trust us, we're here for the long haul. We're not a startup. We're a company that you trust and you've known for a long time. So you can leverage the global cloud infrastructure, of course. I'm not going to talk too much about how our mousetrap is better than the competitor's mousetrap. Effectively, it's the world-class cloud infrastructure. But what we're here to do is to really help you focus on your business productivity and enable you to adopt more cloud applications without putting yourself at risk. So just a little screenshot, because every vendor presentation has to have one. There's cloud app security. So we can the process would typically be, we found that you have some people using WeTransfer within your business. That's probably the highest risk cloud application, let's say for example. And then what you can do is go and speak to those people within the business and say, why are you using a non-standard cloud application? That's Shadow IT. Should we block it, or would you like to use it? And if they say, well, actually, it's very important to our business because it's a tool that we need to collaborate, you now have an extra choice. I mean, before you could block it, right? You give free Shadow IT reporting with our gateways, our on-premise gateways, cloud gateway. But what we can do with CSG is you have a middle way. You could say, well, actually, you could use it for a while, but if you try uploading personal data or credit card data or information that is protected by our governance regime, we will block that in line. But the whole thing, you can use WeTransfer. Use any cloud application you want, because we're going to be layering protection over it. I mean, Prem and I were joking earlier about my title is Director of Edge Protection. We are the edge. I'm the edge. You're the edge. So the edge has now come down to the person. So with CSG, the protection you have is effectively personalized to your needs. But central to everything is data, right? You don't want to have different data definitions and different data protection per person. You want to have data protection where it's appropriate. HR users have different data protection needs to finance users and to customer service representatives. But effectively, you need to have one truth around data for the whole organization, appropriate controls to the job titles, but for that data protection to be consistent. So if you're in on your laptop, you're trying to download. Let's just say, for example, you're on your personal laptop that isn't controlled by your business, and you access your company Office 365. You go to log into office.com, and you enter your username and password. You press the two-factor authentication from Ping or Okta or whatever you're using, and you're in. Yeah, you're into your Office 365 on your personal device. With CSG, we can use reverse proxy technology that could be located, of course, wherever you like, that could say, actually, give people access to to their work Office 365, but control that access, control the behavior. So only writing emails, not downloading attachments, only perhaps writing Word documents, not downloading documents, or downloading documents, but not downloading sensitive documents, because we can apply DLP to it. So, CSG can enable you to overcome many of the challenges that you'll see around data and user behavior to adoption of cloud applications. Okay. So CSG is part of our Sassy solution. We're very committed to Gartner's process around Sassy. We've been quietly developing multiple streams of product around our Sassy offering, and CSG is really our first major delivery of a converged web security, data protection, cloud access security. We are launching, and I can announce to you that we are launching something called private access, which gives you, well, let's talk about it in a second. So Forcepoint, we know that you have different speeds of transformation, sometimes within your business and sometimes because of the nature of your business. So Forcepoint are offering you very flexible options. So number one is hybrid web. If you need to have some on-premise appliances, but you need to have some people who are mobile, with our on-premise secure web gateway, we will give you cloud web security licenses included in that for your users at no additional cost. We've just talked about our cloud native converged security service called CSG. The private access in the previous slide. So private access is, covers all of CSG, but it also covers our zero trust network access solution that we are currently developing. What that enables you to do is get rid of your VPN and to treat your internal applications in the same way that you would treat your cloud applications. So we can bring a consumer-like experience for access. So the problem with VPNs and access to on-premise private applications is it's not designed for security, it's designed for access. It's designed to control access. And once you're in a VPN, then you're into whatever part of the network that VPN allows you to get access to. Where we're going with our zero trust network access is basically to enable your users to access an application at the point that they need it, based upon what they need and what they're entitled to, and to have an adaptive risk model to that. So if somebody decides to access thousands of anomalous records within an application on premise, that will be kicked up as that will be highlighted as a behavioral anomaly. But if they just do normal stuff, accessing normal on-premise and cloud applications, that'll be fine. And we've also announced our firewall as a service based around our highly successful firewall technology. So if you're an existing firewall customer, or if you're considering our on-premise firewall, we announced that we are in late beta, if you like, around our firewall as a service that will give you all of those capabilities, but delivered from a cloud edge. So you don't need to install hardware. So that will give you things like office site protection by just routing the traffic via your switch or your router, and then applying a consistent policy to your users around, threat protection, the normal types of protection that a firewall would give. So this is kind of our strategy, if you like, and all of this technology is covered within our Forcepoint Advantage licensing model. So that enables, if you're of an appropriate size, it enables you to consume this technology without having to worry about procuring separate pieces of technology. So finally, before I pass off to Kamlesh, just to sort of reiterate, our CSG solution is based around trusted technology, but it's cloud native. It's a converged security service that enables you to control, well, within CSG, secure web gateway type things. Is it appropriate behavior? Are you blocking sites that you would normally want to block, or allowing sites that you would normally allow to block? Are we controlling downloads? Does it control sandboxing, that sort of thing? It controls cloud applications, the behavior of the users and the data that they're dealing with inside a cloud application. Inline DLP, and with an option of remote browser isolation. And remote browser isolation allows you to open up much more websites for users. It allow them to access uncategorized websites that before would be impossible to use. Because what we're doing is we're actually, we're all isolated at home, right? We have to work from home. But what it enables you to do is to provide effectively a Zoom call for your users, so they can't actually access the website. They can access a video of the website without affecting the user experience. So CSG is one SKU, it's one product. You have one support team. You have a very trusted partner with Paramount. And of course, we're focused on your success. So with that, I would like to pass over to Kamlesh, who's going to talk a little bit more about the technical detail. Kamlesh, are you there, my friend?
Yeah, sure. I'll just share my screen and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
So, am I audible? Dave, if you can confirm, I can start.
I can hear you. Loud and clear.
So, hearty good afternoon to all of you. My name is Kamlesh, and I'm Senior Sales Engineer from Forcepoint. just so that we were joking about the titles, even though my title has sales in it, there's nothing sales about me. Just wanted to confirm. So I hope the presentation from Dave must have set the foundational concept of what CSG is. So my part now would be basically to take you through the technical side of things. What I have planned is to show you tech components of CSG, basically what CSG comprises of, from a very high level, sort of block level design to, if required, we can get into the low level, details. So that you can start visualizing the strength of CSG bundle in reality and what it has to offer basically. And towards the end, what we will have is 8 to 10 minutes video, recorded lab console walkthrough, so that we would not just speak, but you also have a chance to see what it really technically looks like, right? So to start with, if I have to put a high level block design of CSG, this would be it. I mean, what you see on the screen. It's literally one cloud platform with many different security stacks at one source. So you have, the control plane, one control plane basically, which is providing secure web gateway. You have cloud access security broker. You have DLP as a service. You have advanced malware detection, which is our sandboxing as a service. And as Dave mentioned, with an add-on feature, you can also get remote browser isolation as one bundle. Now, of course, we have different ways you can actually transfer your traffic to secure cloud security gateway, which is from your head offices, branch offices, you can actually tunnel the traffic. So we support wide variety of tunnels. And of course, if you have roaming profiles, roaming users, you can have agents being deployed on those machines, which can actually redirect traffic through cloud security gateway, right? Now, to simplify it further, of course, this is a journey of users traffic from his or her endpoint to public web or SaaS application. What we would do is, it's again one single stack of security where we would be offering web security as a service again. And then you have the advanced malware detection, which is sandboxing added onto it. The main thing which, of course, CSG offers, apart from the web security and threat protection, is data protection as a service. So this is literally for customers who have Forcepoint already installed. They can just extend their DLP policies onto CSG without having any further modification configuration of DLP policies on the cloud. And finally, CASB is part and parcel of the solution bundle, right? And one thing to highlight here is all of these components, they integrate like a fabric. So you would not be able to sort of make out a difference where you are configuring a policy on CASB or you're configuring a policy on web security. They're not different dashboards, and we will basically show this in a demo shortly. So to get into the the low level design of how CSG looks like, what CSG translates to. So it's literally users traffic going to our web proxy on the cloud. So cloud security, cloud web security. And just to highlight, we do have a local node of data center in UAE, in Dubai. So for companies who are sort of reluctant for cloud service providers because of the localization and local presence, we do have it covered. So it's all, it checks all the compliancy requirements. With web security, we have got our CASB integrated, right? And it's the same control plane. So you can actually have some of your sanction applications data being actually transferred through CASB so that you can control those applications in a much granular way. I think there should be an integration point here as well. Our web security as well as CASB integrates with something called as data protection service. Now, this data protection service is the same DLP engine where you can actually create DLP policies. So those on the call who are familiar with our enterprise class DLP, this is the same engine which runs on the cloud as well, right? And then you have add-ons like advanced malware detection, which is again part and parcel of the bundle. So once you subscribe to CSG, you subscribe to all of this offerings. And the only add-on basically which you separately subscribe to is RBI, which is remote browser isolation. So if you have need for certain categories of web traffic which you need to operate in an isolated browser, this is what RBI does for you basically. Now, without further ado, what I will go through is a demo. It's a pre-recorded demo, so I think it's of 8 to 10 minutes. It gives you a glimpse of all the components we have under CSG and how they integrate with each other. So let's start here.
Hello and welcome to this demonstration of CSG Cloud Security Gateway from Forcepoint. I'm currently logged into the admin portal for CSG, and one of the first pages that I've got it set to land me on is a dashboard showing me cloud application usage of my users. And this is a great way to be able to visualize drilling down into what cloud applications our users are actually accessing. We can look at the risk of cloud apps. We've got 3 million pretty low, so high is nothing to be concerned about at the moment. And the usage is as well. So we can look at things like bandwidth to cloud applications as well. And this is good because if we see a big spike of data going up to a particular cloud application, we can then investigate that. Maybe we're not a Google house, so lots of bandwidth going to the drive could be a concern. However, because we use Google apps, that's absolutely fine. So today we're going to talk about CSG and the various parts of it as you saw in the presentation, and look at them from an admin perspective and also from a user perspective, what the user experience looks like. So we're going to our web policy, and this is going to look familiar to customers which are used Forcepoint previously or web sensors in the past. Maybe you're still on-prem, but you're looking to migrate to the cloud. You'll be pleased to know that the web categories are basically the same. So it's all familiar, building up your policy. We support SSL decryption in the cloud, which is important. We can't monitor data uploads to HTTPS websites unless we're doing SSL decryption. We've got a standard sort of block, allow, build up our policy of what users can do. And one of the key things talking about CSG is talking about RBI. So how we deal with that is that we block access to a page that we want to send through the RBI solution. And then we have a particular block page. So we have it's blocked, but you're going to be in a remote browser. And that's sort of a bit different to on-prem. We've got multiple pages within SWG, the secure web gateway. We're also talking about cloud applications and being able to block access to high-risk cloud applications. So here, it's using cloud application databases. I actually block all high-risk cloud applications. So we've got 179 in the list. I can block individual ones as well. So here, we've got which transfer blocked, and on the right hand side, we're allowing access to a little hash sign next to it indicates that GC is actually a technical cloud app which we're sending through CASP with CASP integration. So we can have a look at how that's sort of configured as well. So we'll look at the right browser isolation. We are just forwarding any traffic from the page to a particular host name or IP address. So we've got it configured here on our solution. We've got fast malware turned on, so this is the AND. Fast malware detection from Forcepoint. And we're sending various documents to lifecycle analysis. So if these files are not detected by ACE as being malicious, then it can be sent to the bus line for detonation, and we'll see the reports on the left side also. As well as executables, we're sending common office documents that can contain macros, contain malicious content, PDF files as well.
Yep. Oh, okay, let me, sure.
Content is code. Logged into.
Hello, guys. Sorry, I heard that the audio wasn't clear. Is it better now? Hello.
Yeah, I think it's fine now. Yeah, I think it's fine now.
Perfect. I'll just run it again, just to, if there's again a problem, we can.
Hello and welcome to this demonstration of CSG Cloud Security Gateway from Forcepoint. I'm currently logged into the admin portal for CSG, and one of the first pages that I've got it set to land me on is a dashboard showing me cloud application usage of my users. And this is a great way to be able to visualize and drill down into what cloud applications our users are actually accessing.
There's still issue, right? So I'll walk you through. I mean, I think if that is a better option. So what you're seeing here is basically our cloud security gateway portal. Okay, I will just mute this so that I can speak and walk you through. What it shows you is a landing page. Of course, you can have different dashboards, but what it shows you is dashboard of your choice. So in this demo, what we are showing is cloud apps, and this can live on all sanctioned application versus unsanctioned applications. Hello. Hello. I think there's some apologies. There's some problem with the audio of my system. It is not working with the video, I guess. Probably we can have another time for the demo. But if because the moment I play video, it seems the audio is having trouble. What I can do is, if you're able to hear me, I can show you the Cloud Security Gateway live, if that is a better option. Yeah, if I can get a quick confirmation, I can actually walk you through the live demo. Reem, are you able to hear me? Okay.
I'd say, Kamlesh, go for it for maybe 5 minutes, so we can take any questions that people may have.
Okay. Yeah, so this is the landing page of Cloud Security Gateway. Once you log in, basically you see different options here. So you have web, you have email is an additional subscription I have. So I see it under the same portal. You would see CASB, for example, you would see data protection service, and you would see RBI as part of the same dashboard. However, my lab environment only has the web, RBI and DPS. CASB, you're not able to see it in here as a separate dashboard, but that should come as part and parcel of the system. Now, again, since this is a blank demo, what you would, well, it's blank, but in an actual environment, you would see top cloud applications, both sanctioned and unsanctioned, in your environment. So you should be able to have a quick glimpse on where to focus. So if you have a risky cloud application, which is showing, with a lot of data transfer, probably that's the one which you need to further drill down and see which users are the most user of those that application. Then you have a dashboard dedicated for data security. You have a dashboard dedicated for productivity, bandwidth, threats, and you can of course customize your own dashboard. So as the video was suggesting, if you are already if you're familiar with WebSense or Forcepoint, you have an on-prem setup. This looks exactly the same. So we have the same web categories. which are mapped here. It's the same database. Of course, you have many options, and one of the options which you should be seeing is, which is not part of this, is execute this particular category in remote browser isolation. So when you go to that particular website which is falling under that category, that website opens it in an isolated browser. So that's again part and parcel of the system. Then you have application control, and this is what CASB gives us. I'm sorry, not this. I think it's not part of this, but you have an application control tab, which is different from this, where you will be able to immediately block all high-risk cloud applications, while still explicitly allowing few applications which are business related, but falls under, let's say, high or medium risk, right? So this, the data security, the cloud application control, web security, all are basically configured and controlled in terms of policies from here. Then, of course, you have one dashboard for reporting. So once you go into reporting, you can mix and match reports from all of these different parts of the solution into one reporting console. And the best part is you can actually have SIM integration done. So even though you can have a good reporting console here where you can build your customized report, you can even send all the logs to the SIM. So I think since I'm very much limited in terms of, I'm really sorry, in terms of what I can show you here, probably it'll be a good idea to have a dedicated demo done so that we can actually show you the entire bundle in one shot. So over to you, Dave. I think since this is a limited console, I cannot. Yeah.
That's okay. Thank you so much, Kamlesh. And I must say, sometimes live demos, sometimes they go great, sometimes we have challenges, and I'm really, really sorry about that. I don't know, Kamlesh did his best there. Prem, would you like to wrap up the call and thank everybody? If maybe there's any questions, we can answer those.
Yeah, should we take some questions before that, Dave? People have any?
Yeah, for sure. If anybody has any questions, please pop them in Q&A or in chat. That'd be cool. If you don't, oh, excellent.
When it comes to BYOD.
Okay, so when it comes. Okay, so what we can do, if you have an unmanaged device, let's say you're accessing an Office 365 account that's provided by your business, what we can do is we can leverage single sign-on to be able to redirect the traffic to what's called a reverse proxy. So let's say Dave Barner accesses Forcepoint's Office 365. The single sign-on system says, actually, if you're accessing remotely not from the network, you're going to access reverse proxy.forcepoint.com.office365.com. Then what happens is you're not directly accessing the Office 365, you're accessing a reverse proxy that could be hosted in the UAE. What we can do at that point is we can intercept the traffic that's coming to the unmanaged device, because it's detected it's an unmanaged device, in line, and we can apply a policy that way. So we can do inline DLP back into the device from coming out of the cloud application. So it directs the traffic through the data protection service. A bit complicated from the sound of it, but it's actually pretty simple. I hope that answers the question, Nizath. And I apologize if Nizath is your surname. It's sorry. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for asking a question. Kamlesh should be delighted to offer if anybody would like a demo, one-to-one demo, of course, working with Paramount, Kamlesh would be delighted to do a demo of CSG. Just finally, on the subject of demos, we can actually recreate your environment in a sandbox area we have called Gopher Labs. So if you decide that you'd like to see CSG with certain components that are similar to yours, but you don't want to deploy it on your on-premise, we can run a proof of concept or a demo from a sandboxed environment. Of course, we can do it on premise if you wish, but it's just often it's quite attractive. So about Internet of Things devices, any agent available from Forcepoint. Kamlesh, have you got any thoughts on this one, or should I take this?
Yeah, no, to be very honest, I need to go and check about this. So I'll come back to you on the IoT devices, but if you can explain the use case or at least write it down, I can be in a better position to understand why would you need agents on IoT devices. Because as Dave said that if you have a sanction application, we can directly be inline to that application without needing any agent. So let's say if you go to Office 360, I'm just taking that as an example. CASB would be inline without having any agents being installed. So it'll be, you going to your identity provider and we'll be inline there. Of course, if there is another use case which I'm missing, if you can put it down in the chat, I can come back to you. Yeah.
Also, talk a little bit about our firewall as a service that we're developing, because typically Internet of Things devices tend to be either static, like they're sitting behind a network, or they're devices that a user would carry with them. So in terms of the static devices, pumps, energy generation, medical equipment and stuff like that, we can actually detect attacks against SCADA attacks, for example, through our firewall, on-premise firewall, or our firewall as a service that we're developing at the moment. And of course, if it's a device, if it's a device that's connecting in a mobile way, we could use a reverse proxy to detect data that's being uploaded. It's probably more a use case for firewall though. So if you have, if don't want to put you on the spot, Nisbeth, but if you want to have a further discussion about the Internet of Things, please just reach out to Prem or any of the team. Be delighted to have a discussion.
Let me thank the audience for having spent time with us today. I think it has been very informative. Thank you very much, Dave and Kamlesh. My personal advice to each one of our customers who have attended today is to document your use cases and then have a detailed discussion with the technical team at Forcepoint and Paramount, and I'm sure that we can take it from there successfully. So thank you very much for attending. Thank you all.
Cheers.